Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the April Volunteer Forum. We're coming to you tonight from downtown sunny, warm Oscar 1 here in Bendigo. Although I wish it was sunny and warm. I think it might be a bit of a chilly one tonight, and judged by how everyone's rugged up, except for Wes. I think that they breed him tough in Gippsland. Yeah, it's going to be a great evening. First and foremostly, I want to acknowledge the traditional lands of the meeting to which lands in which we all are watching the forum tonight, and pay my respects to elders past and present, and welcome any elders of Aboriginal communities that may be watching us this evening. Well, as always, tell us where you're watching from. It doesn't matter whether you're in Denali, Timboon, Adrian in Geelong, or Keith in St Arnaud. We're always interested to know where people are watching from, particularly those that may not necessarily be in Victoria, right across Australia, or even in fact worldwide. Lots of things to talk about tonight. I know there's been a lot of excitement around Oscar 1 this week. They're featured quite predominantly in the national media over the last couple of weeks, and it was a real pleasure to be here tonight to hear from the crew from Oscar 1, who they are, what they do, and hear a little bit more about what makes them so special here in CFA. Panel members this evening are Daniel McMahon, the captain of Oscar 1. Welcome.
Thank you.
Trent. Thank you for coming on this evening, and I know a wealth of knowledge, both of you, and we've got a lot to hear about Oscar 1 and what the great work that you guys do. Jana, Gumozsky, welcome, Oscar 1 member. That again, we'll need to hear about your experiences as part of the team. And Wes Ritchie from Goon. Thank you and welcome for coming along this evening. And you're going to show us some pretty special equipment later on this evening. Well, tonight is all about rescue, whether it be road accident rescue, technical rescue, or in fact mines rescue. We're going to be talking a lot about what it means to be a rescue operator, some of the challenges, and some of the things that our great rescue teams right across Victoria do for our communities. As usual, we have a fantastic live audience here with us this evening. Here they are. Give us a wave, yay. They're springing out of their seats wanting to participate in the festivities this evening. And so, as usual, we have a senior staff from CFA in the chat ready to answer any question that anyone wants to put in the chat there this evening, and likewise our live audience is able to ask questions as well. But before we get into this evening's show, let's have a look to see what's coming up. What a jam-packed agenda this evening. Look, we'll be stretched to get through it all on time. I know Brad will be doing a fantastic job of trying to keep me on track, but I'm sure I'll run over as always. But Dan?
Yes, sir.
Thank you for having us come and invade your space here this evening.
No problem at all.
Captain of Oscar 1. Oscar 1, who are you? What do you do?
Okay, so Oscar 1 is a very unique brigade or unit within the CFA. Everyone mislabels us and makes us mine rescue. So predominantly what we do is confined space rescue, vertical rescue, car crash. We fight fires, do grain engulfment. Mm-hmm. One of the special skills we have is now we do it in mines as well. Mm-hmm. So we have all the disciplines, but now we do it 1 kilometre underground. And we do all those disciplines wearing long duration breathing apparatus, if need be.
Yeah.
So we're a little bit different, a little bit out of the box.
No, look, I think you are different and a little bit out of the box in terms of the services that you provide, particularly in, as you say, in the mine space, because you do all these other things and you also work in that mine space. We'll touch on a little bit more about what that has meant for the Brigade in recent, because you are the only one of its type in the state, so you do have trucks will travel.
Yep.
Oscar 1, the name. Tell us how it got to be.
Well, that is a Trent question because he's our local historian.
All right, so from my understanding, the name has come from, it used to be the police, it's come from police when they were first formed up. Back in about 86, I think was the first forming of Oscar 1. Then into 99 when they formed as a unit and become a CFA brigade in 2013.
And Oscar 1 was the name of the police district of Bendigo.
It was the police district, that's correct, yes.
Yeah, right. Yep. And I guess it sort of stuck and went from there.
Yeah, it's a unique name and it's stuck with the brigade. So.
Yeah. So how many members do you have?
We have 25 members at the moment. Probably need about 30 or up to operate efficiently.
The plug, ladies and gentlemen.
No, there you go. So we have 25 active members at the moment for sure.
So talk us through some of the jobs. So you said grain engulfment.
Yep.
We've seen plenty of social media of Oscar 1 retrieving dogs down shafts. I know you've done a few of those.
Yep.
And then you've had a couple of quite significant, as I said, national attention to some mine rescues.
Yep.
Talk us through some of the jobs that you've done.
Okay, so traditionally we probably get called out 4 times a year, 3 to 4. If you average it out, it's about 3.5 times per year. A lot of them can be dogs in mine shafts, because there's 80,000 mine shafts around here, they're everywhere, right? So we treat those as the perfect training ground. We treat them very seriously. We deal with the people on site and we deal with local agencies, etc., etc. So it's really good training for us, but also we're achieving something, right? So I don't know if anyone's dealt with an owner of a dog that's down the bottom of a mine shaft. There's a lot of work trying to, absolutely. It's big. So probably 3.5 of those a year. In the last year and a half, I think we've been involved in rescuing about 50 people from underground.
Oh, wow.
And then we get the odd person out in the bush that's fallen down a mine shaft and whatever. So I remember we got paged on Sunday night for another gentleman that fell down a mine shaft. So it's more common than people think. So, and another thing that people probably don't realise is because of the way the CFA system works, not everything gets documented. So every mine site has its own rescue teams, and quite often they'll ring me direct and go, hey, we've got a truck fire underground and we've got to find, we haven't spoken to 20 people. So then I send a private page out to my guys going, right, this is potentially going to turn into a job. 9 times out of 10 it doesn't, so it's good. But
And that's because I think you're talking to me earlier about because each of the mines have their own rescue teams. That's a requirement for them. It's about how you come in, integrate, supplement, and work with.
Yeah. So again, everyone thinks that we would take over a job at a mine site. It's not the case. So most mines have their own rescue teams. So we would turn up to be the backup for those guys. We run the same equipment as those guys. Some sites in Victoria don't have any, so we're the primary source. But working together with private industry, us, together we're probably 150 members, I guess, we can tap into that have specialist underground mine rescue skills that we can draw on and do whatever. So, quite often, because you've got day shift, night shift, you've got people on holidays, quite often the mine sites don't have enough members. So that's where we'll turn up, work with the police and substitute people into their teams.
So, let's go, I guess, to your most recent notable event. So in Ballarat recently, talk us through that job.
Okay, that was on a Thursday night, I think it was. I can't remember. About 5 o'clock. 2 people unfortunately got trapped underground, about half a kilometre underground, in Ballarat by a small rockfall, a big rockfall. So initially we get the page. Oscar 1 works very close with every rescue team in Victoria. So the first thing I do is I ring their captain and go, right, what have you got? And he's like, I'm heading to site, So information is key. So we sort of turn out and reassure him we're on our way. the number of people we have, etc. When he gets the information he needs, he then relays that back to us. I then relay it to my guys. We arrive on scene. I go straight into work with the police and FRV and whatever on the incident control panel. My guys get a brief. Their guys were well underway performing the first rescue. Still not a lot of information coming out. We're having incident control meetings every 15, 20 minutes with every bit of information that come up. We soon realised that there was just the 2 guys that we need to rescue, but there was another 25 guys still underground in refuge chambers that needed to be evacuated. So the police put it on to Oscar 1 and myself to come up with little plans to evacuate the 25 safely, then to kick off the second rescue, but not interfere with the first rescue. So there's a lot of moving parts where you've got all these agencies on site, you've got 100 people, and you're still trying to get the information to make up a plan in which we could. The first guy was extracted by the local Ballarat team, their own personal team. That's when we get all the information on what we need to do. We then make our plan to evacuate the other 25 people that are under there. Then we go into, okay, how do we extract that last person? Because you've got to remember, once you're underground, you've got a small space and we don't have vehicles and stuff. We don't want vehicles and stuff moving everywhere. So a lot of vehicle control, a lot of controlling the moving parts to make sure everyone's safe. And then we need to look at the area in which we're going to operate, which is not in an easily accessible place, making sure it's safe for our members to go in and then do the second part of this rescue.
So I guess that was a rescue resulting from some rockfall.
Yep.
Talk me through what a fire in a mine looks like.
Oh, that's good. Fires in mines are quite common. Like you have a truck fire, tyre fire, and what have you. They all have fire suppression systems. Sometimes it doesn't work. So, I mean, Costerfield last year, they had a bogger on fire underground. The amount of smoke that comes out if the ventilation's not working is huge, right? The best way to fight a fire underground is not your traditional way. So what we prefer to do, because when you have a mine, it's connected from all the levels. So you have ladders everywhere. So that's where we use our long duration breathing apparatus, rope rescue stuff. We try to descend down behind the fire. We build a wall behind the fire if it's safe to do so. And then the other team on the other level start sending down high expansion foam down to try and smother the fire. But we have to get behind the fire from another means to build a wall to let that backflow and put out the fire.
Yeah, I guess, pretty scary in some aspects, but you're trained, you're skilled, and it's what the team does. And it's not always a man's world. Jana?
Sometimes it's our world as well.
Absolutely. Talk me through, a female member of Oscar 1, how did you get involved? And what are some of the things that you've been doing?
So the involvement just came organically a little bit from many reasons, one of which is just wanting to get a bit of a better understanding of the community that I'm a part of. In my daily work, I do deal with a lot of mining clients and deal with their emergency response team. So I just wanted to get a bit of a better understanding of what that looks like in a hands-on environment. And this was the perfect way for me to get involved in it without being an active member of a mine site, so to say. And Oscar 1 is just such a unique organization where having the opportunity to be part of a team that is so well-rounded, but also so passionate about what they do, and having the exposure to all of these varied skill sets. As Dan has mentioned previously, the fact that we do training and weekly training in such a variety of competencies, so vertical rescue, confined space rescue, the grain engulfment rescue, and the fact that going into these rescues, even if it's a, as you have mentioned, what does a fire underground look like? Yes, we can call it a underground fire rescue, but it involves so many competencies. So everybody on the team does need to be very well-rounded, and Oscar 1 provides such a unique opportunity for everybody to be able to hone in those skills.
That's fantastic. Dan, talk us through the training. Like, what's the training involved to be part of Oscar 1?
Oh, okay. So, basic firefighter for a start. Yes, we are firefighters up front. Then we go on to probably the first discipline we want you to get is vertical rescue. Nearly every job that we have been on is vertical rescue. We use ropes, tripods, rescue frames, descend, ascend, all that sort of stuff. Then the next one would be underground search and rescue, which relies heavily or focuses heavily on long duration breathing apparatus, which is so unique to your normal open circuit stuff. And then from there we go to, because people don't realise, car crash is a massive discipline for us because underground
trucks.
Yeah, they're everywhere, right? And vehicles and small light vehicles and whatever. So then to car crash, then confined space rescue, because it's a whole world under there, right? Like I said, we do everything everyone else does on the surface, but that extra skill is underground. The key for us, I guess, is we're always doing it in long duration breathing apparatus, car crash in long duration breathing apparatus, ropes on long duration. It's annoying. It's hard work.
You're not selling the job very well there, then. And I'm going to say there's a lot of interest out there, and one of the questions asked here by Ethan, is there a requirement to have mine experience to be part of Oscar One?
Yes and no. Mine experience definitely helps, okay? But our members are made up of, a lot of our members are full-time rescuers within mining industry. So we have a lot of knowledge in there. So we're happy to bring people on board and teach them as we go along. So it's certainly nice to have, but not necessary. The key thing we're probably looking for is mental strength over physical strength. Yeah, you've got to carry a stretcher up a decline for a kilometre sometimes. That sucks, it's no good. But mental strength is everything. You need to make sure that when I send you down a ladderway by yourself with a small group, that you're mentally prepared and capable of, okay, I've got no comms and sure, it's hot and I don't know where I really am, that is probably the key. And if we've got the group all doing that together, then you're strong as one. It works.
And I'm guessing, claustrophobia is not necessarily a good thing to have.
Don't join if you've got claustrophobia.
Yeah, I reckon
Don't.
so. Jana, what about, so again, a lot of interest here. So if anyone is out there thinking about wanting to be part of, inquiring about be part of Oscar One, what's your advice to all the women out there who might be sitting here going, you know what, I reckon I could do that? Just
try it out. You really don't know what you're capable of until you give it a go. And it is such a rewarding experience from a physical, from a mental point of view. Just to really see what you can achieve, and being in such a supportive environment as well. Every single member of the team is just fantastic, and everybody comes in with their own unique skill sets and their own unique set of knowledge and experiences, because as Dan has mentioned, not everybody is from a mines rescue background. So you get to meet all these incredible people that bring so much to the table, and it's a wonderful way to really test your own boundaries and also just to make friends.
No, it's fantastic. Well, I understand that we were out and about and participated and filmed one of your training exercises and got a bit of an understanding of what training night might look like here in Oscar One. So let's have a look at what a weekly training session might look like.
My name's Karl Shay. I'm First Lieutenant with the Oscar One Emergency Response Mine Rescue Brigade. So tonight we're going to do some grain engulfment training, which is a bit of a specialised sort of training, so we need to keep our skills up for that. We'll run through a BG4, which is the long duration breathing apparatus sets that we use, and possibly a little bit of rope rescue stuff as well. I like to use the term train the way you want to play, so you make the training as realistic as you can, but obviously when you get to a job, it moves around, you're not sure what it is, but you need to be able to train for the worst and hope for the best. A lot of our members have come out of the general firefighter type role, and then there's some members that have just joined Oscar. Obviously you have to do the general firefighter stuff that all CFA members do across the board, and then we do the specialised training on top of that. We train every week. We try to at least once a month, once a fortnight, have a good training setup. Some nights it's obviously just vehicle checks, that type of thing. But yeah, at least we get one good training in every month. You have to know your team. In a rescue situation in particular, you need to look at the situation, see what it is, and be able to know your team members to go, right, I need you, you and you to be able to go and do this for me, and you have to be able to trust them, because at times you are trusting them literally with your life. So yeah, it's very important that you know who your team members are and what they're capable of doing.
Understanding what a weekly training session might look like here at Oscar One. So we're at one of your vehicles, Dan.
Sure.
And we're going to take a bit of a walkthrough around what an Oscar One vehicle looks like and some of the specialist gear that they carry and some of the work that they do. So I might talk us through your equipment, Dan, and
sure.
Where do you want to start?
So we have 2 vehicles, the ute and the truck. So every time we get a call, the first 2 people into the shed leave with this. So as you would have heard before, information's key. We get a little bit through the systems, but we need people on the ground to be able to feed us the information so we know what we're going to do. So this gets sent out first. So this has enough on it to do any rescue pretty much. So we have 6 long duration breathing apparatus, BG4s, ready to rock and roll. We have hard stretchers.
So we talk about long duration.
Yes.
Yeah, talk us through, I guess a lot of people are sort of saying long duration.
Okay.
What does that mean?
Okay, long duration means I can put my members, which I won't, up to 4 hours. Okay, so every time we breathe out, we're breathing out only 17% oxygen, and we've got CO2 build-up, right? So that becomes toxic at some point. So these sets have an oxygen cylinder, 99.9% pure oxygen. They have a CO2 scrubber. So every time my breath comes out, we take out the CO2 and we replace the oxygen with the pure oxygen. So pretty much you're stuck with your 5 breaths for the next 4 hours. So depending on what you had for breakfast, that's what you're tasting for 4 hours.
And that's recirculated over and it gets hot.
Yeah, it gets really hot. So we're breathing at 36.5, 37 degrees anyway. The chemical reaction in the CO2 scrubber creates heat. So we have an ice pack in there, and that sounds really cool because it cools your breath for about 30 minutes, and then it makes it less hot moving forward.
For the next 3.5 hours.
Yeah, exactly right. So not cool, but yeah, you start breathing around 40 degrees, 38 degrees. I'm not totally sure on that.
Yeah, right.
It's terrible. Especially if you've got an itchy nose. At open circuit's good. You got 30 minutes, you can get that done. If this could be 3 hours, it's just going to stay itchy.
Yeah. All right, well, let's continue on that good news.
Yeah, cool. So we have our hard stretchers, which we mainly go for. We have those there. We have our soft stretchers, depending on the tasks and the jobs. They're in there as well. We have lots of bits and pieces in there, like glow sticks and retractable lanyards and all sorts. And then around the back, we go to our rope rescue kit. This is the stuff that gets used the most, I guess. So we have 100-metre ropes, 2 of, then our gear, our kit bag. We also have kit in the rope bags as well. So we have more than enough kit. These are self-rescuers, so every member that goes underground or into a mine shaft or anything, they're a self-rescuer. So that's my backup device if my breathing apparatus fails or I get myself in trouble. So I pretty much open that. There's a chemical in there called KO2. The KO2 will burn. Once KO2 burns, the natural thing off that is oxygen. So that'll give me 30 minutes of oxygen if I ever need to escape, hide, run away, do whatever it's got to be. Blankets, lights, cap lamps. There's heaps of stuff on here. We'll go on the other side.
All right, well, let's make our way around and all right, what do we got? What do we got this side?
Okay, so in this side we have all our harnesses. I think we have 12 harnesses. We have heaps more rope access kits so we can get close to stuff without hurting ourselves. We have our trauma kits, defib kits. Every operator carries his own personal first aid kit as well. And then we have our oxygen therapy kits. And then we have more spine boards and we have more ropes. So pretty much when this vehicle turns up, we can do pretty much anything. Yep.
And so that's on, I guess, this vehicle. And what do we have on the truck?
Let's go to the truck. It's got our heavy stuff on. So our really old truck, which has been replaced soon. That's wishful thinking, by the way. So we have all our heavy cuts. So we've got all our car crash kit and our hydraulics. We have our airbag stuff. We have more harnesses and more ropes. In the back, we start going with tripods. We start going with rescue frames, ladders, more chocks and wedges for car crash stuff. all our airbags as well. So this is all the heavy stuff that obviously won't fit in there, but this thing drags it along, not too bad. On the other side, we have our freezer that has our ice packs in it for the BG4s.
BGs,
yep, for that. And pretty much the food, the water, and all the other stuff to support the guys in a short period of time. So,
And what's the longest you've been underground in an operation for?
probably we try, and this is the thing. We try to manage that very well because it's hot, humid, and not good conditions. So we try to make sure we don't expose anyone for more than 2 hours. That's what we try. Sometimes we need to stay there longer. Like Ballarat were there all night. It was a 30-hour shift or something. So, but that's not underground. There's so much stuff on the surface being done before you head underground. The underground is the small portion, depending on the job, depending on the task, depends on whatever. So we were just speaking to a guy from Canada who came over and spoke to us. They had like a 4-day rescue. Like 4 days continuously, teams at the face for 4 days. So it just depends on what it is.
No, absolutely amazing. Well, thank you very much for taking us through your equipment and talking us a bit about Oscar One. As I said, you provide a very specialist response across Victoria. It's more than just mines, grain engulfment, your vertical rescue and everything in between, including road crash rescue, albeit a couple of K underground.
Yes.
But certainly, I know a lot of communities across Victoria are very thankful for the work that you do. If anyone is interested, they can reach out, say good day, and look at being part of one of the Oscar One team. It's that time again of the month where we hear from Rohan, who's going to fill us in on some of the most training updates and what they've been up to in ODT.
Thanks, Chief, and welcome everyone to the April training update for the Volunteer Forum. It's been a fairly busy month in training and we've got a number of things happening at the moment that I'll talk about tonight. Firstly, the Huntly Fire Investigation Training Facility was officially opened last week by our Emergency Services Minister, Jacqueline Symes. And it was a great opportunity to acknowledge the hard work from a whole range of people within CFA to make that facility possible, up and running and ready to go. In actual fact, we're currently running a course through there at the moment, which includes 12 volunteers from CFA that'll see them work through the fire investigation training pathway and seek formal qualifications for fire investigators. So that's a huge opportunity and advancement for CFA, and it's great to see our volunteers working through fire investigation and supporting the work that's done to keep our community safe. The next thing I'll talk about tonight is our LMS, or a Learning Hub upgrade. So we've had a lot of feedback over the journey to indicate that the Learning Hub, or LMS, is not quite effective. It's a little bit hard to use and to navigate, and it doesn't necessarily give us all the tools that we need at the moment. So what we're doing is an upgrade to the LMS, or the Learning Hub, which will give us the foundations to make further improvements. It will allow us to start the journey on developing unique student identification, which is a key element towards our RTO requirements, and it will assist us in RTO reporting and RTO compliance. As well as that, you'll see some minor changes, but they won't be significant initially, but over time, this upgrade will allow us to make further changes and improvements to our LMS, our Learning Hub, to make life better for our volunteers and our instructors. This upgrade, unfortunately, will take us offline for 5 days. So essentially from 5 p.m. on the 6th of May until 6 a.m. on the 11th of May, the Learning Management System, or Learning Hub, won't be available to our members or to our instructors or our L&D teams. If people refer to some previous e-news that's come out or work with their CLDs within their districts, they'll be able to work around some options to help ensure that they can continue to utilise training without accessing the Learning Hub. I'd also talk to you now about the GFF course, or the development of the course that's progressing through ODT at the moment. Firstly, we tested the GFF program at Huntly with our Joint Training Committee last week and continuing to make tweaks to ensure that it meets the needs of our members. The key for GFF is to ensure that the training delivered meets the needs and availability of our members. So the key element here is I'm really keen for brigades and groups to understand what is in GFF and be able to work with the regions and districts to identify what's the best delivery method to suit their needs. There is a 3-day option for GFF, and I'll take my hat off to District 16 who developed this in the existing GFF program, which can be adopted in the new GFF program as it rolls out. Essentially, it sees members come together face to face and complete the GFF program over 2 weekends, 3 days, with the support of instructors and the support from their brigades. It's a really good option, particularly for Class 1 and Class 2 brigades. It won't meet the needs of all brigades, but that aligns to our need for flexibility and agility in the training we deliver. What we are looking at is a blended model in the learning. So there's options here for GFF through digital training, online training and digital assessments, as well as face-to-face. And depending on what the needs of the members are, we can utilise any of those ranges. It'll also include an assessment or a series of assessments. So those who are familiar with GFF will know that there is one big assessment, around 100 questions at the end of the theory. We've now broken down the elements of the course and included assessments at the end of each section. So rather than one big assessment at the end, we've brought it down to smaller assessments along the way for the knowledge skills. The other part of that is we've also developed a digital assessment platform. So members will be able to either use paper-based assessments or digital assessments to complete their theory. The benefit here through the digital assessments is that they'll be self-scored, so there'll be multiple questions, multiple choice questions. They'll be self-scored at the end of the assessment, and those results will be then uploaded onto the LMS, reducing the time and the workload to get the results. The decrease on the workload of instructors and CLDs will also be vital to help allow them to focus on other courses as they roll out. There's a series of briefings happening at the moment, including a series of handovers that'll be available for both our paid and volunteer instructors, and also some briefings through the regions that we'll be conducting with our group and brigade training coordinators. We see it as a vital element to ensure that our brigade and group training coordinators are fully versed on the changes to GFF and are able to understand the options available to them and the members as we roll out GFF into the future. So some really exciting things with GFF. A whole lot of hard work's gone into getting it to where it is now, and we're looking forward to releasing GFF on the 1st of July. The last thing I'll just talk about quickly is we have a series of instructor conferences open at the moment. So we're running 8 instructor conferences. We spoke about this quickly at the last forum. Those dates are still open, and we're keen to see as many instructors attend those conferences, or one of those conferences over the 8 that are available in months of May and June. So there's some really exciting things, and we look forward to seeing and talking to our instructors face to face and working through a pretty jam-packed day of information and discussions. So that's it for the update today. I'll pass back to you. Thanks, Chief.
Thanks, Rohan, for that update and some really great work that's been done by ODT in really progressing some of those challenges that we've had in training over the last couple of years. And it's great to see a lot of advancements in general firefighter, but also some of the other course advancements. And my big thanks to the team for making that happen. It really was a pleasure to be joined by Rohan and the team, including Nicole Harvey, our Manager of Fire Investigation at Huntly, with our Minister, Jacqueline Symes, to open the Huntly facility, a $3.4 million investment in the training and education of our fire investigators. Australasian first, with some of the technologies that we see in the Huntly facility. Frank Buchelman will tell you about it all day if you let him. It is quite a fantastic facility, state of the art, not only used for getting fire investigation right, but also for educating firefighters about thermal dynamics and understanding how rooms and certain types of materials in rooms really do burn and how they react with fire. Fire investigation is an important role across a CFA, and it leads to not only community education outcomes such as product safety recalls, understanding cause and origin of fires, but also for the criminal element out there, assisting Victoria Police and law enforcement authorities across the country to identify arson-related activities as well. So a big thanks to Frank, Nicole, and everyone involved in the development of the Huntly Fire Investigation Training prop. And as Rohan touched on, we've got 12 volunteers in there as we speak doing their structural fire investigation training. And I look forward to not only our volunteers being trained, but all fire service personnel from across the country coming into Victoria, into Huntly, to utilise the facility and be trained accordingly. So well done, team. A couple of things I also wanted to touch on. It's Tim O'Connor and the Doctrine team have been very busy updating and reviewing some Doctrine, and in the last week or so we've released a number of SOPs that people need to be aware of. We're actually going to put some linkages into the chat if you haven't been across what those changes are. 207, suspension of member, so formalising that process. It's unfortunate, but it's about putting an appropriate framework around that when our members are faced with that situation. A refresh to operational duties for our junior members and our senior members from 16 to 17-year-old SOP. An update and a refresh to our Mayday procedure and hostile acts radio signals. Importantly, we're also now incorporating interoperability to our SOPs, where it's known how other fire services that we interact with and agencies, how they operate, to ensure that our members are across what each other state and territory does, should they be on interstate deployment or otherwise, and know how to call a mayday in the way. So if you haven't seen that one, I strongly encourage you to have a bit of a look. An update to the bushfire entrapment procedure for appliances and on foot. So again, not much of a change, but well worth a bit of a read and a refresh for those before you do your entrapment drill for the coming season. And a new one, 9.42, which is requesting and issuing of a community warnings SOP. And it's something that has been a little bit of a gap in the policy Doctrine setting. There's been sector guidance around how we issue community alerts and warnings, but for the fire commander on the fire scene, a bit of an SOP in terms of what to look out for, what to consider, and what to inform Firecom and the SDO or the DDO about what you would like to have as far as a community information or warning. Thanks to the VFBV for working with us and consulting around a number of these and providing their feedback. We try to incorporate that where we can, and we've been able to really incorporate a lot of the feedback from our friends at the VFBV. SOP 9.42 and 207, I have issued them interimly, so they are in immediate effect. However, we will use the next 12 months as a process of consulting, and we'll be reaching out to the VFBV as well as having it on our bulletin board for members to read and provide your feedback, and we'll do a 12-month refresh and review once we get people's feedback. So you can expect that one coming down the consultation pipeline. Well, thanks again, Dan, for talking us through there. Look, there's really a lot of interest in the chat in what you do, and particularly a question from Harold, a long-time listener, first-time caller, wants to know about dual membership. Can you be a member of another brigade and still participate in Oscar 1?
Yeah, absolutely. So I would nearly say 50% of our members are dual membership. Absolutely. So yes, you can, for sure.
Excellent. Well, that's I'm sure. In fact, I think Ethan's asked the same question as well. So that's a lot of interest there, and so that's fantastic. Well, we have another session to go on to now, and in respect to some new rescue equipment. Rick Owen has done it again, and that's convinced me to buy some more fancy gear for our rescue brigades. And as usual, he doesn't disappoint. Tonight I've got Wes and Sharon who are going to provide a bit of an announcement on some new equipment that we're just about to put into action across our rescue brigades. Wes, can you talk us through what we've got?
So what we've got, one of them is a EV safety plug, so for the electric vehicles. This basically allows us to plug into the charge port, and it tricks the car into going into safe mode. Puts the handbrake on, out of gear, turns it off. So this is a good plus because, as we know, the EVs, when they are sitting there, we don't know what state they're in because you can't hear them. Yeah, that's...
So one for every rescue unit, and I think, how many in total?
26 in total, and over the next 2 years they'll be phased through. The next one is the Swan Guard vest, which is...
Sharon's modelling that.
Sharon's modelling.
Let's have a look, and as if Rick was here, he would say, one of the things with the Swan Guard, we are one of the first agencies in Australia to get this technology into the country and to put it into operational duty across our rescue brigades. So Wes, talk us through what it is and how it works.
So basically it's a fairly flexible vest that we can slip in behind a patient to aid extraction. We tighten that up. We have straps under the arms which give us room to move away from the patient, pull them up a spine board, whatever. We also have the facility with the hook. There's 2 of those to hook and anchor the patient to, say, a steering wheel while we wind the seat back down, and the patient isn't, doesn't have to be restrained physically. So it's all about manual handling and to try and minimise that sort of issue that we can have with, we grab somebody's trousers and the hand slips off. We've got something nice and solid to grab hold of.
So we might ask Sharon just to do a little bit of a turn so we get to see the back of the Swan Guard there. So as you say, typically used for when you've got an entrapment situation, individual still in the car in the seat. And you put that in, secure them, so secures the patients, their arms and the like, and really is about occupational health and safety and manual handling of a patient for our rescue operators, isn't it?
Definitely, because a lot of the time, we're cramped in a vehicle trying to get somebody out. This gives us that bit more freedom. You've got ambos in there as well, so it's pretty close quarters.
Sharon. You can turn it back round there. So thank you for modelling that for us. So every single one of our rescue units will be issued with
21 of those.
Awesome.
Yeah.
No, fantastic. It's really great to see a rollout of that technology, and I know that Rick puts a lot of effort into working with the rescue brigades, working with our rescue association to understanding what our needs are, but also keeping an eye on emerging technologies as well. And it's a really good example of where we've really looked at something that's going to improve the health and safety and manual handling aspects of our rescue operators when doing patient extrication.
Definitely.
Particularly on spine boards and the like. But as old Daniel's direct, but wait, there's more.
There's more, yes.
And we'll touch on that a little bit later. But first, I want to tell you a story about 3 amazing ladies from Plenty Brigade who have been part of the rescue team, who talk about what it's like to be part of a rescue crew in Plenty. So over to you.
Can we get some casualty protection?
My name is Heather Scale. I've been with the Brigade since 2012. First joined back then. We retired, my husband and I, and looking for something to do. And we'd always wanted to join the Brigade, so we found the time to do it. And I've really enjoyed it. The sense of community has been fantastic. Giving back to the community has been really good. You see some pretty horrible stuff, but just knowing that you can help someone in a bad situation is really worthwhile. My background is office worker, so using tools and holding hoses and being able to put mechanical bits together is something I've never done before.
Try the front of that vehicle, make sure that it's stable.
The training's fantastic. There's stuff that I do now that I never ever imagined I would do. Driving trucks, wearing breathing apparatus, using the tools on the rescue, the cutters, spreaders. The skills that I've learned in leadership is really worthwhile.
Beautiful.
Lovely.
What's our next option with our...
My name is Sarah Gibson. I have been at Plenty Fire Brigade since 2019, but I joined CFA in 2006. I originally joined in my year 12 year, just as a way of sort of giving back to the community, doing something different, and getting out there and learning new things away from school books and that kind of thing. So I'm fairly new to rescue. I only did the road crash rescue course last year. I did rope rescue in 2019. I don't have a background in tools, as I'm sure a lot of other women may have not had the opportunity to, and learning new skills and building the friendships, it's really something special.
Well, it gets harder.
It was all quite new to me. I had to learn it from the bottom up, but it's been amazing. I would never have had the opportunity to learn those kind of things had I not been involved in rescue. Hang on.
Where is it? Oh, that's all right.
There you go.
My name is Olivia Rumble. I first joined Plenty Fire Brigade back in 2016 as a junior member. It was just something to do after school, just became my weekly activity. I've just recently done the rescue course last year, so very new to all the rescue stuff. I don't come from a tool background. I'm a very city kind of child, so it was all very new to me, but it's been such an amazing opportunity and experience to learn all these new things and do stuff that generally people don't do. I love joining this brigade. Everyone is so knowledgeable and so open to teaching. It's been so good learning, hands-on experience. Being on the fire ground and learning from such amazing people has been really good. I would say to other women, just go for it. You get to learn so many new things and everyone's so welcoming and will teach you everything you'd like to know.
I know that some women may be reluctant to get involved in rescue because it is quite a confronting scene and we don't think we have the physical strength to be able to lift the tools or do different types of things. But there are so many roles that you can undertake in rescue. It's not all about the tools. There's casualty management, there's getting stuff off the truck. If we need some help with a tool, there's someone behind us to help us carry that or to hold it while we're manipulating it, cutting a vehicle or doing something like that. We at Plenty encourage all women to get involved and we support each other. It's very much about teamwork and recognising people's skills and putting them in the right positions to do the right job. So give it a crack and get involved.
And the crew for filling us in on what it's like to be part of a female crew of the rescue there at Plenty. I actually wanted to take this opportunity to recognise and acknowledge the death of one of our own recently, Greig Wanless, who was involved in the fatal glider accident at Mount Beauty. Such a dedicated member of our community and part of the Plenty Brigade, and he would be sorely missed by many of his CFA colleagues right across. And I take this opportunity on behalf of the members of the CFA to pass our condolence to the Plenty Brigade and to Greig's family at what will be a very hard time for them all. So we'll make our way around now to our brand new rescue unit. Wes, Nana Goon has managed to score one of the new rescue units. Yep. We're going to do a bit of a walk around where we'll talk about some of the new equipment that we're putting on our heavy rescues, but also some of the technologies, and there's some features to this vehicle that people may not be too, aware about. Is that I know Rick Owen has done quite a lot of work around ensuring gender appropriateness to the design of our fleet and our appliances, and this appliances has been designed with all people and all abilities in mind. And there's some things that we'll touch on where there really does make a difference when you compare it to some of the rescue trucks of old. But Greig, take it for a bit of a walk around.
Okay, so basically, this locker here, we've got things like the battery-powered hacksaws, which we've actually used at a job just recently. Fantastic bit of kit. Turfers, 50-tonne jacks for lifting trucks and things like that. Coming to this point here, first emergency service in Australia to have Paratech, which is a new stabilisation. They're 4.5 tonne rated, even with the extension on. Very easy to use, retractable leads and all that stuff.
So that's so is it first in the country, CFA, to use this technology, and we've had that imported for, and we're going to be putting that on all our rescue appliances and replacing the Stabfast that's already on there. So a great achievement, and certainly part of the renewal and technology aspect to what we're doing.
Stabfast were small one was 1.5 tonne rated. The XL was 2.5. These are 4.5. So a lot better. And
people might have already noticed that, we've got these pull-out components, excuse me, and that is all about maintaining, ease of getting off, ergonomics, manual handling. So we're not leaning in anymore, we're not reaching up anymore. We're just sliding out and at waist height pulling off. So Fridge?
Fridge,
Oh,
hydration, key. Some of our jobs can be long duration. We've also got, first is a marquee. So we can put up a marquee for patient welfare, for ourselves, hot day, rain, whatever. So that's all new technology on this truck. We are now have the mule, which is allow us to take gear to a scene, rope rescue gear. We can pack it all in that and then bring patient back if we need to. So again, manual handling, ergonomics.
and here's a really good example of that. Yep.
Yep, so the shelves slide out so we can see. This is, again, for EV stuff, electric safe bolt cutters, insulated bolt cutters, sorry, rated to 1,000 volts. So, yeah. We have nibbler for panel work, for cutting steel panels and that, with that one. And a new first on any of our rescue trucks is a decon locker.
So talk us through what a decontamination locker does and how it's used.
We can take our gear off, bag it in biodegradable bags, store it in here so it's away from any other clean area of the vehicle. And at the end of this whole locker can be washed out. So it drains to a point, can be totally washed down.
So blood, biological contaminants, bagged
contained.
here, safe, clean. We get back to the station, bags removed, and then we're able to get those washed. And as you say, if there is an issue, then it is you're able to wash it out, clean it without contaminating the rest of the truck.
Anything else, exactly.
Fantastic. So what have we got around the back here?
Around the back, business end of the truck. So we have our glass management kits. We have some hoses for some live hose tools and battery powered pumps. Again, we've done away with fuel on the vehicles and onboard power generation to save cost and make it safer for us. Tools, these line tools.
So again, waist height, easy to be grabbed.
To take out, these ones here, this one I believe is known as the Beast. It's about 140 tonne cutting capacity. So it's not often that we're going to need that, but it's there for us.
So I've actually had a bit of a play with the Beast out the back of Epping Fire Station there. We're at their Brigade event celebration and managed to have a bit of a go. So it really is the Beast.
Yep. The SRO and the Brigade. So we can tell how much use we've had out of the tool, the battery condition. If there's a fault, it will log that back to the service provider. Tell us how much strain we've put on the equipment, which is it's good for us to know. We know what this equipment will do, but we very rarely know how much of that capacity we use.
And certainly, I guess, grip force, cut force, that sort of stuff as well, So these are sort of fairly new things. So again, everything at waist height. We're not lifting we're not lifting up anymore or bringing things down from overhead.
So and again, the E3 Connect. We were looking at the back of the truck before and one of them fired up and tried to report in.
Oh, well, there you go. All right, so we make our way around.
What do we got here? So here we have room for a Stokes litter, our backboards, first aid gear, things like that. New big plus that Rick and the design team have put in for us is load-rated anchor points for our rope rescue gear. That's a fantastic initiative. Gives us a good rated anchor point for our rope systems. First aid again, BA, which will go on the truck. Here, lighting, our tool bags, some cribbing. This truck, once we go into rope mode and we hook a line to it, in the past we've had to shut the trucks off, lock them up to make them safe. Now what we have is the ability to turn a key here, pull it out, and it locks the transmission out. so the truck cannot physically move.
So it can continue to run, power, lights, the whole thing, but transmission will not be at work.
Yeah. Yep. So that's fantastic, because a lot of the night jobs we used to have to take lights off the trucks and try and work under battery light. What else we got there?
Airbags.
Here
More cribbing.
some more cribbing. Blocks.
Box.
All that stuff. Another, again, bit of a design thing. Gives us good access to the gear.
Yeah.
We're not reaching into a bin trying to get what's at the bottom. So that's a lot of thought gone into it, and it's fantastic.
Probably we'll finish on the big one here. So let's have a look at this.
So this is again going on all these new generation rescue trucks. The work platform, which allows us to work on trucks and things like that. Pull that out.
Yep.
And again, manual handling, ergonomics. We drop it down to the user. So yeah.
So again, people can get that waist
Yep.
height.
Yep.
No lifting. Really safe manual handling.
Yeah.
Excellent. So a lot of technology, in the trucks. It's really designed to make sure that we're looking after everyone, no matter what height you might be, body shape, or the like, male, female. It really doesn't matter. We've made sure we've designed this truck to accommodate everyone. So that's fantastic. Now
We have the ability to drop the suspension as well,
yes.
so that the airbags will drop and lower the truck even further.
So some technology in the cabin.
Technology in the cabin. We've got the filtration system, which will take away VOCs, cold, flu, COVID, and that. So they run. There's 2 of them in the vehicle. Give us a clean environment again. So that's cab protect.
And we'll make our way around to the front. Might be a little bit dark, but we'll see how we go for the camera operator here. But around the front, what have we got on the truck?
And front here, we've got the winch down the bottom here. So 4-ton winch, 40 tons of 40 metres of rope, and fantastic light bar, so we can see where we're going at night. We need them down our way.
Yeah, so certainly a lot of technology and a lot of effort has gone into designing these appliances. And again, a big thanks to Rick Owen, our engineering teams, our fleet teams, and our volunteers. It's been a consultative process as well.
Yeah, the Rescue Association had a design team assist the engineering and Rick, and they've done a fantastic job of this.
And it's a really good example of some of the latest technologies that we're putting into the hands of our volunteers when they're out there protecting our Victorian communities when they might find themselves in an unfortunate situation where they're trapped in a car or some other issue. So thank you, Wes, for taking us around your vehicle. I know it's not quite in operation yet. I know the Brigade's very excited to get it. The name is on it, yes. It hopefully won't go walkies, particularly with a couple of, I know Oscar 1 was eyeing it off there earlier. Thank you again, and congratulations on such a great achievement and working with the team. Well, it's news time, and let's catch up on what's been happening over the last month. Well, that's what's been happening over the last month. So in other news, in other items, May brings around again National Volunteer Week. And this theme for this Volunteer Week this year is something for everyone. National Volunteer Week will recognise the diverse passions and talents everyone brings to the act of volunteering, and emphasises that there's a place for everyone in our organisation, and encourages people to participate in what it means to be a volunteer in any organisation, but naturally we would like everyone to consider being a CFA volunteer. This year will also, with National Volunteer Week, will coincide with the release of our next Give Us a Hand campaign, a recruitment campaign seeking to gain interest from Victorian community members to come along, give us a hand and volunteer and be part of our brigade movement here in the CFA. You never know, you might end up in Oscar 1. We're going to put some links in the chat for anyone that wants more information. And I got some stats from our last Give Us a Hand campaign that we launched in September last year, where we saw a 92% increase in the number of expressions of interest on previous years of people wanting to come and join our great organisation. And I know there's many brigades have benefited from people expressing interest and becoming members. And we hope that this year, with the second Give Us a Hand campaign, we'll see even more people come part of the CFA. There's a lot of work and effort that's been going in to ensure Give Us a Hand is successful. People will be seeing that again on streaming services, in your cinemas, on billboards, and anywhere where we can spread the word again to get people interested in being part of our organisation. And that's going to be fantastic. With May also, it brings along St Florian's Day, where we stop and remember and reflect on those firefighters that have gone before us in service to their communities. And I will be heading off tomorrow to Canberra for an AFAC, two-day AFAC function where on Thursday morning we'll be going to the National Volunteer Memorial, where we recognise, share and reflect on the sacrifice of many emergency service personnel from right across Australia. For CFA, we'll be joined by the family of Gregory Godkin, where we'll be inscribing his name on the National Memorial and reflecting on his sacrifice and service to the Donald community, and thank him for his selfless service, and also, I guess, assist the brigade and the family in remembering Greg and thanking him for everything he has done for them. Later on then, later on the week, we'll have the Victorian Emergency Services Memorial in Treasury Gardens, where we'll be again reflecting on those who've gone before us, specifically here in Victoria, where Gary Mallon's family will be joining us for the first time since his tragic death in Portland, where we'll be remembering his sacrifice to service of the Portland community. And again, we'll be joined by family and friends to stop, share and reflect on all those that have gone before. It will be live streamed, the National Memorial. So again, if you have the ability to stop and watch and reflect on those fantastic emergency service volunteers, those brave men and women, that'd be greatly appreciated. So thank you. Well, on another note, what has been absolutely fantastic, we've been doing the Volunteer Forum for quite some time now, and it has been going from absolute strength to strength. And the team behind the desk have been working tirelessly month on month to make sure that we deliver to our volunteers, to the public, whether they be in Victoria, Australia or right across the world, what's happening in CFA, and make sure that our members are as connected as you can be to what we're doing in our organisation. The other month we announced that we have also created podcasts, so we turn the Volunteer Forum into podcasts available on Spotify or Google Podcasts. But I'm absolutely fantastic and pleased to report to everyone that we've received our 10,000th subscribers on YouTube, and a big thank you to all of our subscribers to the channel, in particular the Volunteer Forum. 10,000 people logging on every month getting notification and watching the volunteer forum is quite an achievement, and we stop and thank each and every one of you for making it such a fantastic event. Well, Jana, it's been a jam-packed agenda.
Absolutely.
What are your thoughts on the Nano Goon truck?
A little bit jealous. I wish it had the Oscar 1 name on it, but I'm sure we're next, so.
Your captain has trained you well. And Wes, thanks for coming along and sharing your special piece of equipment. I can see the smile from ear to ear. I know
The third one I've been involved in. So,
really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah, and the technology, the progression of them has been fantastic.
And I know the Nano Goon members will be absolutely ecstatic to
They're chomping.
Chomping to the bit to come in, so that's fantastic. Dan, what's your thoughts?
That truck is amazing. That key that locks out that transmission, I bet you can't find it by the end of the night.
Unless you get Oscar 1 on the side, is that
Absolutely
going to hold it to ransom?
Absolutely.
Trent, what are your thoughts on what's happened tonight?
Tonight, no, it's been really good. I've really enjoyed tonight. I've watched a few of these forums, and tonight's probably been my favourite one. But no, it's been really good.
No, it's fantastic. Look, it's great to hear the contributions of our members and be able to run that through. So that's fantastic. So I've just got a message to say that we've got a couple of questions in the email. So bear with me for 2 seconds, and we'll work that through. I might actually refer this one and call upon the member for Northwest, if he may. We're joined tonight by Deputy Chief Officer Gavin Thompson. And the question for you, Gav, is did the brigade classification project in Northwest Region result in any outcomes, with many brigades in the vicinity of Fire Rescue Victoria areas, in particular District 14, experiencing an increase in call volume and population, along with the growth of more urban areas, and only operating tankers without pumpers to respond to increased calls? It's a long one, sorry.
There's a bit in that. So the brigade classification project was actually put on hold due to the work being undertaken as part of the operating model, as part of the fire service reform outcome. So whilst a great deal of research was done across the region, and we started to tip into some of the other districts in the other regions. However, it's still yet to be completed. Mm-hmm. So once the operating model work continues or gets to that stage, we'll continue to roll that out in that project sense.
Fantastic. And while you've got the microphone, another question from, I'm assuming it's from District 14. Are there any plans to upgrade the MSA Classic sets used by brigades in District 14? These sets are known for poor internal communication on the fireground, especially when surrounded by FRV and other brigades equipped with electronic sets. So that old chestnut, classic versus electronic.
So that's a pretty simple answer to that question is no, there's no plans to upgrade those. So depending on which school you come from, some people do prefer the classic, as it's less maintenance also and time taken to keep the gear in an operational state. So it's a Ford Holden type argument in some sense. So obviously the nature of our very broad church that we are in CFA, you can't please everybody, but the important thing is that the PPC and that equipment is fit for purpose and does offer good protection to our firefighters.
Mm-hmm. And one last one, because you are such a wealth of knowledge tonight, Gav. Can you please cover the responsibility for drivers driving fire trucks, and particularly around the use and applications of logbooks? I know we've been talking about driving SOPs and that sort of stuff, so I guess your thoughts?
That's a really good question that would have had a bit of notice, but the research might have been handy. So there's obviously many elements to it. So in terms of emergency response, we keep our logbooks in terms of our vehicles, and we want our drivers to fill those out, obviously upon return from the fire call. And then in terms of driving over 100 kilometres, there's other requirements in terms of that. It becomes more of an issue for training exercises and fleet maintenance and those type of activities. But for emergency response, the logbooks that are inside the vehicles are sufficient at this stage.
Thank you, and great answer, Gavin. Thank you very much. And Brad, have we got any other questions from the audience? They're a quiet, cold bunch this evening. The temperature has significantly dropped by a few degrees here. So, and the pizzas have arrived. Okay.
Or it could be taken that they're just very well informed in the northwest, so there they have no question.
The jewel of the CFA, if he does say so himself. Thank you. Thank you, Gavin. Look, it's fantastic to see everyone again come out here this evening. It is quite cold in the shed here. Yeah, we are a bit chilly, but there's been a lot of information this evening. We've announced a lot of new equipment, had a really great conversation around what it means to be a rescue technician, whether it be road crash, vertical rescue, or even in Oscar One's case, their speciality as well, with everything else that they do in mines rescue. So that is fantastic. As always, our Vol Forum will be available on YouTube for replay, as well as being turned into a podcast, as I touched on before. So that's I encourage everyone to, if you've missed anything tonight, to be able to go back or share the news for other people to come and join on. May's Volunteer Forum will coincide with National Volunteer Week. And for many that don't know, I will be heading off on Friday for a spot of leave, and Deputy Chief Officer Gary Cook will be taking the reins as Chief Officer, and will be taking you through May's Volunteer Forum. So please, everyone, think of the hardest question you possibly humanly could, because May is the month at which you get to ask it. And I'm sure Gary will have the wealth of knowledge and be able to answer those. As usual and always, my big thanks to those behind the desk. They work incredibly hard every month to pull the Volunteer Forum together, and in particular, Martin Ensign, Beth Ramshaw, Brad Thomas and Marnie Reid. Thank you very much for being here this evening and pulling this together. To my panel guests, thank you very much. Jana, thank you very much for sharing your insights. If it encourages and inspires women in community to become part of CFA, I'm all the more for it. So thank you for sharing your views and experiences.
Our pleasure.
Trent, Dan, thank you again. It's been a great session, and wish everyone all well. And I will see you again in June. So thank you very much, everyone, and have a great evening.